Stugatz here for Dollar Shave Club. You heard me talk about the amazing shave I get from my Dollar Shave Club razor, especially when I use it with their Dr. Carver shave butter. Well, I'm here to tell you I'm never giving up my membership. In fact, I'm adding even more DSC products to my daily routine. I love them that much. They are fantastic. Everyone on the show uses them. Dollar Shave Club makes products for your hair, face, skin, shower, everything you need. They have me looking and feeling amazing, and it's all their own original stuff. That's what I love most about it. It's amazing. They only use the finest premium ingredients, and they deliver it to you just like they do their razors. That means no more annoying trips to the store, cruising up and down aisles, looking at shelf upon shelf of what the hell is that and what do I do with this? I use Dollar Shave Club for almost everything. Razors, body cleanser, hair gel, and yes, even butt wipes. DSC has you covered head to toe. And now's a great time to give Dollar Shave Club a try. You can get your first month of their best razor along with travel-size versions of shave butter, body cleanser, and yes, even butt wipes for just $5. After that, replacement cartridges ship for just a few bucks a month. It's the DSC starter set. It is awesome, and it's yours for just $5 exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/Dan. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Dan.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald in with us as he is every Tuesday. If you're not familiar with what we do around here or how we do it, I am just sort of an elephant sort of roaming around, and everyone just bounces off of me and gets annoyed by me and influences during the breaks what it is we talk about as I wander around. And so Mike was hitting me with a lot of Skyscraper and a lot of Mike Tice during the break.
Yeah.
And Roy handed me a sheet of paper, and this sounds promising, of just reading things said on the Philadelphia police scanner during the celebration. I think that without the visuals, that is a funny thing to just read to you things said on a police scanner. But I want to get to this Mike Tice story.
Okay.
And I want to get to Skyscraper as well. Is that Greg Cody's not much of a movie guy. And this right here is the audience for Big Dumb Dwayne Johnson movie.
You mean I'm the audience, right?
No,
here?
just this.
Okay.
I didn't mean you. I
Okay.
meant our audience.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I could have just made it your face, but just our audience is here for one-footed Dwayne Johnson. I mean, Dwayne Johnson, I'd prefer him with 2 feet, but you're going to give him to me with one? Okay, we'll take it.
Yeah.
1 foot, I'm even more invested now.
Yes, it's more challenging. Yes.
So Mike was doing some sort of gymnastics where he was hanging on to a crane, or was his prosthetic caught in the crane?
Well, he was trying to jump from a crane to a building, but because he only has 1 foot and a prosthetic on the other, he's short in his jump. But for whatever reason, he gets caught by the foot, and it's a prosthetic foot, and it's stretching out. And the end of the trailer is a prosthetic metal piece just extending and lengthening, and you don't know if Dwayne Johnson's going to make it.
Right.
Yes. He's hanging upside down, from
by
the
a
top
prosthetic
of the, by
foot.
a prosthetic foot that is lengthening and might break at any point.
I know, but what I loved about the exchange,
I wonder if he makes it.
One of the things I loved about the exchange is, as Mike was saying it, Dwayne Johnson with prosthetic. I'm in. Stugatz is just muttering in the background. They had me at Skyscraper.
How can that be bad? I mean, honestly, think about it.
Of course it can be bad.
What?
Of course it can be bad, but as long as you know you're going to see a big dumb movie and that's all you're going to do, then it can be good.
But it's not just big and dumb. Now you're emotionally invested because you're rooting even more for The Rock.
Mm-hmm. How did he lose his foot, by the way? Do we know?
We'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
So he is he's part of a Skyscraper security team, but he's a former FBI agent. So I'm guessing something terrible happened while he was working for the FBI, and then because something terrible happened, he then had to resort to being part of a security team for Skyscrapers. but now he's going to have to bring back everything he learned in the FBI, you know? All the stuff he learned in the FBI.
Just spitballing, maybe the terrible thing that happened resulted in him losing his foot.
I think so.
Well, now, he's not a superhero, right? He is not any kind of...
I mean,
he is
technically.
Well, no, okay, not technically. He's a whack and hut guard.
Well, he is.
All right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
So, but what I wanted to ask you guys, because I've got a lot of my friends have been talking about how excited they are about this Black Panther movie that's coming out a week from Friday.
Oh, that's a
supposed
different
to be
level.
great.
No, I know, but it's a blockbuster. And what I wanted to ask you guys is, do superheroes ever get to be black? Are superheroes a white thing? And the reason I ask the question is, do any black kids grow up seeing a black superhero? Like where in the movies?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned.
I'm legitimately asking the question. It's something I've never given a moment's thought before asking that question right now. Is there such a thing as a black Superman or his equivalent?
Well, obviously, superheroes in comic book history, primarily white. You had Blade and Spawn, and Luke Cage and whatnot. But now, since Disney acquired Marvel, they're sort of rebooting the entire comic book universe to where a black teenage girl is now Iron Man. An Asian person is the Incredible Hulk. All with the previous characters sort of still in the universe and sort of imparting their knowledge on a more diverse group of heroes.
But I think what Dan's asking is, was there ever an original superhero that was built with a black person?
No,
involved,
there have been,
right?
but no, there have been. But what I'm asking you is, the comic book movies, is that a white thing? The movies that have this is the Dark Knight or Superman or any of these blockbusters, is it as exciting to everybody as it is to white people? I'm asking it legitimately as a question because I don't know the answer to it. I don't know if black kids grow up looking up to any kind of black superhero in fantasy. I don't know who those people would be, and I haven't seen them in the movies, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have not seen movies that are catered to that.
Right. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. I would think not. I would think that that's a white phenomenon for the most part.
I think that's a good poll question. Before I get to reading these police scanner comments, Cameron, put it on the poll. How do we word it? Comic book superheroes, is that a white person thing?
This is the first superhero comic book movie blockbuster that is going over and above in its marketing strategy, all the way to its Kendrick Lamar curated album to appeal to a black audience. It's why they picked Black History Month for the release.
No, and I know, and it's getting amazing critical reviews.
Yeah, it has.
All right, so here's this is by April Glazer. She is simply just recording things that were said on the police scanner after 10:20 p.m. in Philadelphia after the Super Bowl ended, and it was largely peaceful. And then you get this, 10:36 p.m. We need somebody at Broad and Walnut, southwest corner, people on the pole. 10:40 p.m. I got about 2,000 college students coming from Walnut Street to 30th to Center City. 10:46 p.m. Chief, it's endless. It's endless, Chief. It's endless. 10:53 p.m. About 4 stories above the Wawa, we got people out on the ledge.
I love the Wawa, man.
I can't tell how they came up. If they're not allowed to be there, can we get them down? They're coming out of the window. 10:57 p.m. Be advised that someone is flying a drone in the area at I-5 and Market. 11:04 p.m. They're climbing the fence. 11:11 p.m. They're on the trash trucks. Get them off the trash trucks, guys. 11:14 p.m. Multiple people on Broad Street swinging again on the light poles. 11:23 p.m. I got a group jumping up and down on tractor trailers now. 2 white men in black jackets and blue jeans. 11:25 p.m. I need to get the fire extinguisher out of my trunk. I got a fire on Broad Street just south of South. Someone lit a Christmas tree on fire.
Sal Pal.
11:26 p.m. They just flipped the car over here. Medical response team over here. Greatly appreciate it.
Jeez. Imagine if they lost.
Oh, no, I'm keeping out all the assaults and stuff. I'm just reading through the funny ones. Like, I'm keeping out all the actual bad stuff. 11:38 p.m. They're trying to tear multiple light posts down, and I don't have anyone to counteract it right now. 11:42 p.m. They're climbing up the fire escape onto the roof. 11:44 p.m. A man jumped off the light pole and landed on his head. 11:45 p.m. We have a light pole down on the east side of Macy's Corner. 2 live wires. Live wires. 11:51 p.m. On the southeast corner, the pole is about to collapse. There are about 40 of them on there. 11:53 p.m. We have a large crowd throwing bottles and chanting Meek Mill.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save an average of $620. Tune in tonight for college basketball action as TCU battles Kansas. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNRadio.com, and the ESPN app.
11:58 p.m. I got a male in custody in this location. Says he's an off-duty cop. 12:24 a.m. I got someone jumping on top of our fire truck now.
Hi, this is Papi. Do you know that my TV show Highly Questionable is not only on ESPN2 every day at 4:30 Eastern? It is also available as a podcast. You can listen or subscribe to the Highly Questionable podcast on ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don Le Batard.
Jordy Nelson had a goose egg. Unbelievable. What are the odds? Money in the bank, that guy normally. Best Nelson since Ricky Nelson in the 60s.
Stugats.
Hands up if you remember Ozzie and Harriet. Put them up.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
All right, I'm mad at Stugats because during the first segment, he wasn't listening to much of anything I was saying because he was hypnotized. He looked hypnotized, somewhere between hypnotized and sedated, as he stared over and over without the volume being up at the Skyscraper preview, the preview of the Skyscraper movie.
Can't stop watching it, man. I mean, I just can't stop. I cannot wait to see this movie. When's it out? Because I'm going to get in line. Like, I haven't been in a theater in years, and I'm telling you, I am going to the theater to see this movie. I am.
Garrett, what is it about the trailer that you like so much? Because the entire here's the thing. I went with my girlfriend. Ron McGill of Zoo Miami does every year around Valentine's Day. He's got a very popular thing that he does, Sex and the Animals. And it's funny and it's great, and he does it at the zoo, and he raises money for his endowment. If you want to help Ron McGill, check out Ron McGill's endowment, because that's a good man doing good things for the animal kingdom. And my girlfriend, for the entire hour and 15 minutes that Ron McGill was talking, just had a smile plastered on her face because she loves the animals so much. And sex. And Stugats was looking at that preview the same way.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't paying any attention to anything that I was saying.
No.
Anything. He wasn't paying attention to it because he was just hypnotized by what exactly?
I mean, Dan, when you're 44 years old and you have 2 kids, the Skyscraper trailer is sex. That's my sex at this point in my life. Okay.
Okay, but what did you see? What is it? I have not seen the commercials for this. I've only seen your descriptions of a prosthetic and a Whack-and-Hut guard. The way you guys describe it is awful, frankly. Having not seen the previews, the way you guys describe it is terrible. It sounds like a terrible movie, but I'm sure the previews would change my mind on that.
It starts with a classic, he's out on some sort of limb off the building, like some ledge, and it starts with a classic helicopter scene, much like Die Hard. It is modern day Die Hard. That's what it is. I'm excited for it. But it starts there where they're shooting at the Rock and he's avoiding all their bullets and he's doing all the, those Rocky type things. And then it shows, a little, backstory with him just putting his pants over his prosthetic leg so he has the prosthetic leg. Okay. Then it shows his beautiful wife, Neve Campbell. And I'm telling you, Neve Campbell, baby. I mean, welcome back. Wow.
All right, so Neve Campbell.
She reminds me of my wife. She really does. I mean, you would agree, right? That's my type.
That
right
is
there.
your type.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean, this is my wife Abby, but with a job and money.
Yeah,
and there'd be no resentment if I was married to Neve Campbell. So anyway, and then there's a bunch of. Oh wait, Dan, this is the best part because it's in China, and there are a bunch of things like you don't have to open anything. It's just put your thumb here, door opens, thumb there, door, and I love that kind of stuff. But here's the best scene: the old elbow to break glass in case of emergency to get an axe out, so he can take care of the bad guys.
So he can do axe thing.
Yeah, he can do axe things. Yes, but then the ending, which I cannot stop watching. Is him, Mike, how would you describe the thing? What is that thing called? It's like they're doing construction on the skyscraper. He has to run across it.
It's a scaffold.
Scaffold.
Okay, a scaffold. So he is running across the scaffold, and he has to jump from the end of the scaffold to another building. Luckily for him, his foot gets caught in a rope. Otherwise, he doesn't make it. And he's just hanging from the rope, but
guess which foot?
It's the prosthetic foot. And it just keeps stretching and stretching and stretching, and then it leaves you wondering.
And then that's it.
Yes.
Bang. Yeah. And that leaves you wondering, how quickly can I spend this $12 going to the movie theater?
It's a real foot hanger. Oh, upset. Major upset. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at him.
That's a very provocative poster, isn't it?
Wait a minute.
You want to see it? Hold on.
I do want to see that again because it seemed like The Rock was just clearly jumping to his death there, right? There's no way that he could survive
but the rope,
that.
Yeah, and the prosthetic.
Right. The run is dead on.
Yeah.
He might be looking at an Oscar for his performance.
Let me see that again.
This is it. All right, here he goes. Hold on.
Yes, he's running scaffolding. The lights are on him. Courage is one of the words on the screen. Now he's running like crazy. Right. Has no limits is one of the words on the screen. He's rumbling now because he's thick and he's big and he's muscular.
Look at this jump.
And he's jumping clearly to his death. He's not going to make that. No way. Wait a minute. He's not going to make it. Trailer ends.
It's not over yet.
There he is, upside down. Yes. The prosthetic. Prosthetic is stretching. He's going upside down. And it just says summer. Oh, my God. Fast forward all of time and allow me to age several months quicker than I normally would just so I could get to summer.
Have you guys ever wanted to see, like, movies on what happens right after these things happen? Because, like, there's all these movies where these skyscrapers are falling down and stuff, and, like, that has to be such a pain in the ass to rebuild that city, right?
Yeah, just someone cleaning up.
Yeah.
Clean up after?
Yeah.
No, I never wondered.
I've never wondered about that. No, I'm suspending disbelief. I understand that none of this is real $2.
Well, Dwayne Johnson had to have a foot amputated for this role, which is really method acting. I mean, when you do that, you're a serious actor. Credit to him.
Does Carson Wentz have a championship in your personal record book?
Yeah, he does.
He does?
Yes, he does. He does.
He does?
Yeah, Carson Wentz absolutely
Wait a minute.
does.
If LeBron...
I'm not certain about Nick Foles yet, but Carson Wentz does.
What?
I don't know.
Nick Foles absolutely has him.
He joined a pretty good team. Yeah, played three. Listen, he only played like 3 or 4 games. He joined a really, really good team that was doing just fine without him. I don't know. Foles definitely. I mean, I'm sorry. Wentz definitely. Foles, I'm still debating.
That's one of the weird...
I got to consult some of my people.
It's one of the weirdest takes Stugotz has ever had.
It's really not, if you think about it. Greg, you understand what I'm saying?
I do indeed.
Would the Eagles have landed in the same place with or without Nick Foles? Meaning if Carson Wentz never got hurt, did they win it all?
I understand your larger point. The inconsistency I'm objecting to is the idea that you're giving one to Wentz and not to Foles.
Well, it's my personal record book.
And there's where I'm always trapped. That is always the end to all arguments.
I mean, listen, in your book, you want to give Foles one? Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question about Wentz? What if he continues to play on this very good team with Philadelphia, but he doesn't actually win a Super Bowl? He goes several years without it.
Listen, in my personal record book, I can give someone a ring and then take it away. I've told you this before, yes.
Yes, wow.
I mean, if LeBron goes to Golden State, I'm telling you, every championship he wins with Golden State, I take 2 away.
Okay. Yes. Once Stugotz, I love that Stugotz's personal record book also includes like a time machine.
Yeah.
Make me a bicycle, clown.
Now, if Foles goes somewhere else and wins, or they trade Wentz, and Foles continues on and wins more championships with the Eagles, I'll revisit this conversation.
Guillermo,
but for now...
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Does it make any sense that in Stugotz's personal record book, Carson Wentz has a championship and Nick Foles doesn't?
Super Bowl MVP.
Don Lebitard.
You know, that utopian scenario is waiting a long time for a continuation.
Right. Let's get to Utopia already. Let's go. Let's go.
All it's cracked up to be Utopia.
Yeah.
Or is it overrated? That's what we need to find out first.
Stugatz.
Kind of overselling it, right?
Yeah, there is no utopia.
Get there and be very disappointed.
Right. Sort of unrealistic to expect a utopia, quite frankly. Just deal with the real world first.
Exactly, right.
Worry about utopia and heaven later.
You are dead on today, my friend.
Continue with your program.
Oh, thanks.
This is the Dan Lebatar Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald in with us. If you are just joining us, the reigning Super Bowl MVP and NBA Finals MVP do not have titles, according to Stugatz's personal record book.
Correct.
So if LeBron James were to sit right now with an injury and the Cavs somehow won through the playoffs without LeBron James, you would give LeBron James no credit for this title, but Carson Wentz gets credit for that title.
No, LeBron James, if that played out, if LeBron James went down tonight, we certainly don't hope that happens, and they went on to win a championship, which seems implausible.
Right. You would still give it, but it does seem
still give LeBron a ring.
You would give LeBron a ring. What if KD did it? What if KD goes down right now and the Warriors win the title?
No, I mean, KD played last year and was the finals MVP and didn't get a ring. Why would he get one this year? I mean, what's going on, man? You're having trouble keeping up with my personal record book. Why would I give KD's never going to win a ring, period. The only way KD wins a ring is if he leaves Golden State and goes to a team that has maybe one superstar, and if he does that and wins a championship there, I'll give him a ring. I'll give him a ring. Right now, he's -1.
What? He's -1?
Yep.
He's negative.
You could be -1 in my personal record. You can be minus anything in my personal record.
He owes you a ring.
Wait a minute. I did not know that Kevin Durant is in the rare position of being beneath Charles Barkley, who hasn't won a ring, and Dan Marino, who hasn't won a ring.
Right.
He's beneath them with -1 rings. I did not know that was an addendum to the personal record book.
Yeah, the path was so easy that he took that I took away.
Wow.
And so he's starting in a bad place, a place no one else has ever started before. He's starting at -1.
He's drawing dead, man.
Yes, yeah.
So he's got to win a ring to be at 0.
If he goes to, let's say he goes to the Knicks. No, he has to win a ring without playing for Golden State. He goes to the Knicks with Porzingis, and I love the Knicks. He goes there and he wins a title, then he has 10 rings. How about that? I'll take the one back, then he's even, and then I'll give him 10 more. He wins 11 championships if he goes to the Knicks. KD, if you care. You go to the Knicks and win a championship, I'm going to give you 11 rings. How about that?
Well, here's what's funny about that. Stugatz just turned to a camera. He has no idea if it's the right one on ESPNU and spoke directly to KD.
Yeah.
As if KD were watching this show on ESPNU and cared about, wait a minute, I could get 10 championships instead of the -1 I presently have. Well, here's one of your delusions that you share with my father, because Stugatz is sitting here saying he cares. He cares what I think.
I mean, Dan, have you seen him since they've won the championship? Have you seen KD, like the way he's been acting, trying to validate what it is that he did?
This is what I want to ask you guys, though, because my father, I'm not sure my father's wrong about this, but my father's got delusions the same way that Stugatz does. So I ask you guys this question, because this is funny. My father has unreasonably, and to my great shame, been calling LeBron James and Dwayne Wade for 2 years now the Snake Brothers. He does things on television where he moves his hands like cobras, he makes them hiss, and he continues to call them the Snake Brothers. Wow. And the other day there was a soundbite, and LeBron said, well, when a player takes control of his own power, then he's a snake. Then he's a snake for leaving his organization. And my father is taking credit. My father's yelling to anyone who will listen. He watches the show. He sees me doing the snake dance. He knows that I've called him a snake. No one else in the media is calling him a snake. I'm the only one calling him a snake. Mm-hmm. And he hears me.
Poppy's right. No doubt in my mind.
No, because I'm talking to two people here who are at the height of self-delusion and narcissism. Like the two of them think that everything they say is being heard by all.
Right.
Well, it is.
Of course it is. LeBron's listening right now.
Yeah. And if he's not, like someone is, I'm telling you, someone on his staff, someone, who surrounds, who's very close with LeBron James, it is their job to listen to this stuff.
Guillermo,
and they pass it back to LeBron.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does LeBron know that my father refers to him as a snake?
Mm-hmm. He does know, and it hurts him.
I want to ask you guys this.
You don't think KD knows he has no championships in my personal record book?
I don't think he knows he has -1. I don't think he knows he has -1.
I think, he will soon.
Well, you're talking straight to a camera that you're not even sure is the right camera, telling KD, who may or may not be watching on ESPNU, that he has -1 championships, and you think that information has gotten immediately to KD wherever he is on the West Coast, 7:38 Eastern, because he's got a Stugatz alert on his phone.
Yep.
Kevin Durant did kind of tweet at you once. Now, he was tweeting at incarcerated Bob, who was tweeting about something that you said.
Yes.
But he knows, and J.J. Watt certainly knows.
Oh, he definitely knows, yeah. Frosty. Woof. I mean, I tried to have conversations with that guy on Twitter. It ain't happening. And KD did tweet something
Wait a minute.
me.
All the bad stuff you've said about J.J. Watt
I tried to get him on the show. I mean.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Figured if someone we wanted on the show, I tried to get him on the show.
You have no shame.
Nope.
You've been just crushing J.J. Watt. Let me ask you guys this question, because a lot of people got mad at me yesterday because I said, and my wording was too strong, I said that it was that call that everyone is celebrating today, at the 4th and 1, a tight end / wide receiver throwing the ball to Nick Foles. Oh, the grapefruits on Doug Peterson. That is the way that I have wanted coaches to coach fearlessly for a long time. But what I'm saying is, in that particular situation, 4th and 1, if you're doing results versus process, I know the result worked. I know what happened. That Nick Foles caught it, we celebrated it, and America saw that Doug Peterson was really revolutionary, smart, and fearless against Bill Belichick. We all saw how it ended up working out. But if I lay out for you 4th and 1, Philadelphia Eagles, choose from among these plays, how far away do you want to get from what you do best? That's about as far away as you can go from what they do best. In a game where they were best at everything and they kept overwhelming them, that is as far away from what they do best as anything. So you could celebrate the element of surprise. I'm just questioning whether the process was sound in getting to the result. Because that call, taking the ball out of your quarterback's hands to have someone, first of all, wait a minute. Having a running back flip it to a tight end or wide receiver, having that tight end or wide receiver throw a ball when he's not a professional thrower, even though he threw the ball in college at Florida backing up Tim Tebow.
Right.
And having him throw to Foles, catching the ball, catching the ball. Nick Foles.
Right in his hands as he's wide open.
But we saw the same thing. To Dan's point, we saw Brady drop that ball earlier in the game.
Right.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that if somehow Foles had dropped that ball, everybody would have been there very quick with, what kind of call is that?
No,
they would crush Foles, I think, because the play it worked out so beautifully. He was so wide open. But an over the shoulder to Tom Brady is different than Nick Foles just routine.
Fair. It was a 2-yard pass.
Fair enough. Right. But what I am telling you guys though about this, I remember I've told you guys this story, and this is where the ignorance of us and the media in terms of what we're watching can be something that is a drawback. You see Chris Long all over Twitter right now criticizing Chris Collinsworth because he's saying, man, you were saying on a Super Bowl broadcast that I was responsible for things that in this defense I wasn't responsible for. If Collinsworth isn't aware of it, how can we be? But I've told you the story. Dave Wannstedt in Buffalo's got the perfect call against a blitz, a screen to that side. It's the perfect call. It should be a 90-yard pass. Jay Fiedler screws it up, pick six, and Miami's never in the game. Mm-hmm. And so the process was great. The result was a disaster. And so when I'm doing sports analysis with you guys, I'm fixated on process because I know what will happen in the sports media conversation once the result is bad. You guys tell me, if somehow the ball is bobbled, somebody bobbles a ball, I'm talking about risk versus reward. You need a yard. You're the best offensive line in the sport. You got 2 running backs. No one can stop.
Even if that pass is incomplete, Peterson gets tremendous credit for an inventive, daring play.
You think so?
The only second guess is if Nick Foles is hammered by a cornerback.
I think Stugatz is arriving on 3rd and 1 they threw, and on 4th and 1 they threw, and I think everyone in the world, if the Patriots come back and win that game,
I'm crushing
everyone is saying, what the hell are you doing? You need a yard. You got the best offensive line in the sport.
Yeah, well, agree to disagree, because how many times do we see runs at the 1 get stuffed?
Yeah,
that entire defense was expecting the run, which is why that play.
Or play action.
But that's your strength, and you've been gashing them.
And by the way, I sincerely doubt that Nick Foles was the only option on that play.
No,
they would throw it to the quarter. Yeah, they would throw it to the quarterback if the quarterback was wide open.
Only
which
if he's wide open.
No, they had a wide receiver cutting across the back of the end zone who was also wide open, by the way.
Guys, again, I know it's a genius call because it worked. I'm still telling you that what the situation you would have then called for is a guy who's not used to throwing the ball on the run in the pros, throwing to either Nick Foles or someone else from 10 yards behind where you started. That's not usually a play that goes very well.
He's practiced that play 1,000 times.
I understand, but not as much as the stuff that they're good at.
The only way it's praised is the way it played out. If Trey Burton throws a bad pass, we're blaming Peterson because you didn't have your quarterback throwing the ball. And if Foles drops the pass, then you're blaming the coach because you have a quarterback.
I'm talking about risk versus reward. I'm not.
The stuff they're good at is what the defense expects.
Uncle Fuddy, you look good. When you back that ad up.
I don't think you guys are understanding
I'm
what
with
I'm
you.
saying. No, but I'm not saying the thing they're good at is running the ball, but then the secondary thing they're good at and we're good at in that game was Nick Foles throwing the ball. They didn't go with either of those options. Like you could play action off of that and have Nick Foles throw the ball without objection.
Oh, I hear you, and I think I see some of your points, but coming from you, I think that's why I find this so bizarre because you're going up against a world champion.
I am not actually. That's how I want everyone to play against them. It's how I want everyone to play against them. I'm just saying that risk versus reward in that particular situation, it worked out for them, and salute to them for it working out fearlessly to them, but it could have gone the other way really easily, and they increased the probabilities through that play call of it going the other way. That is not a high percentage play.
but if they hand the ball off to a giant, he gets stopped.
That's correct.
That's correct. You got to be more creative against the Patriots.
And plus, that play is such that you don't throw the ball to the quarterback unless he is completely uncovered. Mm-hmm. If there's any cornerback near him, you throw it away or you audible.
Don Lebatard.
I love me some doctors. Have a lot of respect for the medical profession.
Stugats.
Except chiropractors.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald in with us. Would you like to hear, courtesy of KOTV Tulsa, a news anchor finding out the Eagles won the Super Bowl live on air?
Okay.
So that's indifference? You don't want to hear that? It was a yes or no question.
I'm trying to process what you just asked me. It's so bizarre to hear it posed like that.
It was a fairly simple question, I think. Yeah.
It's a yes or no question.
How do you find out live?
Just play the sound.
Big Sports with Harold Kuntz.
Okay, late break. Here they won! Yes! They won it! They won it! Yes!
Oh my God.
What's the matter? You seem stunned right now.
Well, I'm upset at you because you think it's fake.
It is.
And I'm upset at Greg Cody because I asked him a very simple question and he made it the, Pythagorean theorem for some reason.
Who finds out live on the air that a team has won? The whole country's watching the game.
So he's working in the
field. He has to work.
My God.
He's a local news anchor who found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing he's faking, like Dan, there's no way he has that kind of reaction if he's just sitting at home watching the game by himself. He played it up for the cameras. That's all I'm saying. I can't help you, Greg, but I'm just telling you. I'm not saying it's a fake reaction. He played it up for the cameras.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Which is worse, Stugat saying that's fake or Greg Cody just being a dope?
They'll hammer me on this one.
Sound of the day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade the shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today. They should hammer you.
I thought it was an easy yes or no question. I don't know how to make it any easier than that. How can I do this better so that you answer better?
Well, ask Greg. Like, where'd you get confused with that question? What was it?
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cody on ESPN Radio.